Hey kids, it's Jurassic James, and on this Jurassic James Explains, we're looking at the Cenozoic. So let me explain. People think that when dinosaurs die out, it's the Ice Age. That's a thing in the pop culture that I keep hearing over and over again. So I want to kind of address it with these models. So the truth is, when dinosaurs die out, there's 63 million years of stuff going on before we get to the Ice Age. And here I will explain it. You know the time periods, the Triassic, Jurassic, Cretaceous? Well, there's the periods after that are the Paleogene, the Neogene, and the Quaternary. So here's how it works basically. The Paleogene is punched this area here, and within each time period there are ages, there's subdivisions. So there are the Paleocene, Eocene, Oligocene. Within the Neogene we have the Miocene and Pliocene, and in the Quaternary we have the Ice Age or Pleistocene and today. So the idea is that there's a lot going on. Again, this is the Ice Age right here. So there's 63 million years of stuff happening between dinosaur death and this. So with these models, I'm going to kind of show you that real quickly. So the first thing to point out is that Paleocene, the epoch right after dinosaurs died out, there are very few fossils, much less toys of those animals. The most popular one now is the Titanoboa. Whenever I teach, this animal is got really popular in the last like 2 years. And I remember when I'm teaching summer camp, every kid, every week, some kid brought up Titanoboa and how it ate T-Rex. And I was like, no, Titanoboa lived in the Paleocene, not the Cretaceous period with T-Rex. T-Rex died out before there was the Titanoboa. They were different animals. It ate crocodiles, not T-Rexes, right? But once you get to the Eocene, we have our first animal here, and this is the Diatrima, which is often considered a terror bird. It's not though, but these guys here are found in North America, and they're Gastornis cousins in Europe, although those two are considered the same genus, so it's going to be just Gastornis. But the idea is that this is one of the first animals, the earliest animals post-dinosaurs we get toys of usually, right? The next model, of course, will be the Androsarcos, which is essentially a arcpterodactyl, a hoofed animal, kind of related to a hippo or a camel or a deer, but it's a carnivore and has one of the largest skulls of all time, 3 feet long, skull. So anyway, really cool animal here. This is from Asia, actually. And then, of course, we have our Ceritherium, good point. Therium means beast. So just like Stegosaurus, Tyrannosaurus, Allosaurus, Bacrosaurus, the word saurus means lizard for dinosaurs. You're gonna see the word therium a lot because therium means beast. It's like their name basically. And this guy's from Egypt. The Eutherium here, known for having 6 horns and saber teeth, but being an herbivore. Bear in mind, I have like 4 or 5 other models of this animal. So if you want videos on these guys, let me know too. I just do dinosaurs more because one, I have more dinosaurs, but also because I figure that's what people are more interested in. But I do have a lot of mammal information too. And these guys, again, are not rhinos or hippos or elephants. They're a totally different age group of mammals, and they have their own family tree, but they die out, of course. There's no modern equivalent. The Brontotheres, I like these guys because they're rhinoceros cousins, but they're not rhinos. And they actually were in charge. They weren't in charge. They were dominant before the rhinos evolved, really. Well, we know today. So they have these big horns here in the front. And some are big and flat, so different species are there. And different genders too. We see male and female, bigger and smaller horns. It's called sexual dimorphism. Really cool animals. And of course, in the Eocene, we have our whale. Now, if you ever buy the Safari LTD tubes, they have a prehistoric ocean one, and there's a little Basilosaurus in there too. But I bought this from somewhere in Southeast Asia. I remember it took like a month to get here. But it's a prehistoric whale. Now, the big deal with Basilosaurus here is that one, the Eocene is like the Jurassic, but for mammals. And the Oligocene behind it is like the Jurassic. What I'm saying is, in the Jurassic period, reptiles went in the oceans as marine reptiles, in the air as pterosaurs, and all over land as dinosaurs and their cousins. In the Eocene, mammals go in the air as bats, in the oceans as whales, and all over the land, right? They kind of diversify and spread out, right? So the idea is that the Basilosaurus here, early Eocene, we have no whales. By late Eocene, we have whales, clear with flippers and everything. That's a big change in this one epoch, right? By the Oligocene, which is like the Jurassic age of giants, in the Oligocene we have these giant rhinos named Intricatherium or Paraceratherium, depending on which book you read or paper you read. I would be about that tall to this guy. I'm 5'9" or 5'10", depending on which. When I go out to the convenience store, which height I am. I'm kidding. But the idea here is that I'll be like that tall. And of course we have the Hyenodons, which carnivora today, lions and dogs and wolves and bears and all that, have ancestry in the Eocene, but they don't begin looking how they look today until like this about the Oligocene. The main top predators or mammalian predators were the hyenodonts, and they're a group called creodonts. And the idea is that when dinosaurs died out, these are the first mammals to become the top predators in the mammal world, and they're later replaced by the modern carnivora. Here we have Entelodont, which are not pigs, but they are pig-like. They're often called killer warthogs, but they're not warthogs because warthogs also aren't pigs, technically. But the idea is that these guys they're omnivores, and they're very successful, and they do really well, you know. And of course, we have what are commonly called false saber-tooth cats in the old books. The saber-tooth cats we know and love that are more recent, these are thought to be their ancestors. They had big saber teeth, they were cats, you know. But the idea here was that morphology studies showing the design of the animals, that they weren't actually direct ancestors. So they're often called false sabers, even though they had their own sabers, they were a whole family, but they're not considered the direct ancestors of the recent saber-toothed cats. So that's the Oligocene for the most part. The Miocene, so again, we're seeing the Paleogene and the Neogene break between these two times. And the Miocene is the first epoch in the Neogene. And this is important because grass is abundant. We have grass, I think in the Cretaceous period, there's some evidence of grass here and there, but by the Miocene you have fields. So if I brought my modern mammals over there on the wall, the ancestors, we had camels and horses by now, but the ancestors of like deer and cows and giraffes, those guys are showing up in the Miocene, right? Because they're eating this environment, this grass. There's an Entelodont named Diatrima who is like 6 feet to shoulder, so I'd be like that tall next to it almost. Very terrifying animal. Here we have one of my favorite prehistoric mammal group. They're called Cocotheres. They're clawed horses because they're close to horse relations, but they have like these big claws. So I'm not sure if they walk flat foot, like with the claws like this, or like some say like gorillas with the fingers back. We don't know, but they're just really neat. They're really cool. Anyway, I like them a lot. Obviously, Megalodon is of the Miocene, basically. Megalodon has a new genus now. Megalodon's a species, and the genus is changed from Carcharodont to I think Odontus. So you actually see Megalodon historically now it's O Megalodon. So it's also a Miocene animal. As far as the elephants go, they have a lot of fun because we have the Gomphotheres as a group. They're usually 4 tusked elephants, and some are seen hairy, some are not, depending on which paper you're reading. But their elephants' ancestors are in Eocene, but they kind of diversify in the Miocene. Elephant, you know. The Ambulodons are essentially called shovel tuskers because they're seen with these flat teeth here. In the Paleontological Museum, there's a Placental and a cousin of this guy, and the Megalodon's attacking it. This is the same kind of animal you're seeing there. But they're also in the movie Ice Age, the very first Ice Age movie. But they didn't live in the Ice Age, for one thing. And then 2, they look really weird. Like the shovel tusk, instead of having a trunk, because the trunk's unknown length. So instead of having the trunk like this, it's just like a top lip to this thing. So we don't know. Anyway, it's in the air. The Dinotheres are often depicted as being terrifying. They are large elephants with tusks going down, and elephants are defensive. They do protect themselves, so why not? But the idea is that they are a cool group of animals. And also we have a little horse here with 3 toes, and again, the earliest horses were Eocene, but they have 3 toes. We see them today having only 1 toe. Also, the primates are a big deal. So we have our ancestors. Here's the male version of Lucy, also Pithecanthropus. We have going into from Miocene to Pliocene, we have the Homo habilis, which is kind of like what's called the handyman toolmaker. And then we have Homo erectus using fire here. If you ever want, I can do a video on any of these topics, if not just the human type ones. But the main thing to point out here is that we go from Miocene to the Pleistocene. The reason that, well, first of all, Pliocene starts at 5 million years ago, roughly. And the Pleistocene starts about 2 million years ago. Now, it's usually 1.89, 98, depending on which new paper's coming out. But in general, there's a 2 million year period between 5 and 2 million years. Sorry, 3 million year period. And then the Ice Age itself. And the idea is that a lot of the animals you see in the Pliocene survive into the Pleistocene, or somewhat vice versa in some cases. Now, as far as the Pleistocene, the most recent, it's called the Ice Age. When you say the word Ice Age, you're thinking Pleistocene. That's what you're seeing here. This is Macrauchenia, which is a hoof, an ungulate, but it's not a llama or a camel, but it evolved like a llama or a camel. So it's an example of like convergent evolution, or at least parallel evolution maybe. But that is, this environment calls upon this plan, and it happened twice. We have cave bears from Europe, And the idea is that we have cave lions, cave hyena from Europe, a lot of caves there, animals live in hide in caves. We have a woolly rhinoceros, which if you saw Mandalorian, the mudhorn, the thing that they, yeah, I mean, when I saw like that's just a woolly rhinoceros with only one horn. So real thing from like Russia, Eastern Europe, and South America, and the Americas we have giant armadillos. So there's Leptodont right here, which is one in most museums. Dodicarus is my favorite because it's a club tail, it's kind of cool. Saber-toothed cats, not tigers, are found in the Ice Age, of course. The earliest ones would have been Miocene, but the one we know today is Smilodon fatalis. That's the one we all know, see in movies. We have what's called the Irish elk. It's a megaceros. It's a deer that each antler for the males grew 6 feet. So it's a 12-foot rack. That's like every hunter's dream, right? Maybe that's why it's gone. Who knows? But giant ground sloths from South America. We have a woolly mammoth right here, and of course I have lots of woolly mammoth models. If you have a video on that, let me know. And then of course we have the Mastodons, which are mammut is the proper term. Genus is mammut. Mastodon is a slang term actually. Anyway, so they're different kind of elephants here. And finally, over two humans or hominids, Homo sapien, and then Homo neanderthalis. So again, I like the way that he has an atlatl, which is used to like to fling the spear. And you have this guy here with just a general spear. So again, the point of today's talk is to show you that there's a lot of stuff going on between the dinosaurs and the Ice Age. And of course, beyond these guys would be my modern mammals, which many of them are in this time. In fact, I'll put a link below. When I was doing my mammal part of my website, the toys, you can see a lot of them are, I put the time range, and a lot of them are Ice Age too. So it's Pleistocene till today. So again, Eocene, Oligocene, Miocene, Pliocene, Pleistocene, and that's the post-dinosaur time. If you have more questions about this, please comment below, or let me know if you want to do a spotlight video on one of the animals. I have multiples of many of them. So that being said, thank you very much for tuning in.